Alright, let's be real. There are way too many great games out there that just never got the spotlight they deserved. In this video, we're diving into 30 awesome hidden gems you probably never played, but absolutely should. From wild action to emotional journeys, these are the games that flew under the radar but hit hard. Let's get into it. Let's start with Wild Hearts. Monster hunting gets a wild upgrade here. The best part? You're not just swinging swords, you're throwing up zip lines, launchers, and death hammers in the middle of a fight. That building mechanic changes everything. The combat feels fast, fluid, and flashy, with giant beasts that are as deadly as they are majestic. And the world? Absolutely beautiful. Ancient Japan vibes mixed with elemental chaos. It didn't get much love when it dropped, but honestly, it deserves way more attention. If you like tactical action with creative freedom, this one's worth every minute. Next up, Children of the Sun. You only get one bullet, and that's all you need. You fire, and then you're steering that thing like it's haunted, ricocheting off skulls and weaving through enemies in one deadly dance. It's part shooter, part strategy, and completely insane in the best way. The story feels like you stepped into the mind of someone unraveling, with gritty visuals and a creepy narrator whispering vengeance. It's not long, but it leaves a serious impression. You'll replay levels just to get the perfect combo kill shot. Honestly, one of the most unique indie ideas in years. And next we have Gylt. This one creeps up on you. At first it feels like a kid's cartoon turned eerie, with this quiet, foggy town and strange shadow creatures lurking around. But then the emotions hit you. It's a stealth game at heart, but the story about bullying, fear, and isolation adds weight to every move you make. You're not blasting monsters, you're avoiding them, solving puzzles, and slowly uncovering this weird, dreamlike nightmare. It's short, yeah, but weirdly memorable. The whole game feels like walking through a sad storybook that doesn't want to tell you everything, but you keep turning pages anyway. And now, Indika. Okay, this one's bizarre in all the right ways. You're a nun with a literal demon in her head. The two constantly bicker, debate religion, trauma, and existence, while you walk through a surreal, often hilarious, often disturbing Russian landscape. The game plays part puzzle, part platformer, part existential crisis. It's uncomfortable, bold, and totally unique. At times it feels like a fever dream, other times like a philosophy class gone off the rails, but you'll stick with it because it's saying something, and even if you're not sure what it is yet, you'll feel it. Next we have Anger Foot. Kick, everything. That's it, that's the game. But holy hell, it's addicting. You run through buildings at breakneck speed, blasting music in your ears, kicking down doors like you're the angriest guy alive. It's messy, chaotic, and ridiculous, but that's what makes it work. There's no aiming down sights, no cover system, just vibes and violence. The levels get weirder, the enemies funnier, and your foot stronger. And somehow that's all you need. It's got that perfect loop of fail fast, restart faster that makes you lose hours without realizing. Absolute madness. Let's keep it rolling with Little Kitty Big City. This game is basically the definition of wholesome chaos. You're a chonky little cat who accidentally falls into a big city, and instead of panicking, you just vibe. Knock over flower pots, steal sushi, wear silly hats, and help other animals with weirdly heartfelt side quests. It's not trying to be deep, but somehow, it sneaks in charm and personality in every paw step. There's no combat, no stress, just joy. Pure serotonin in game form. It's the kind of game you play when you're burnt out on explosions and just want to meow at people for fun. Next on the list is I Am Your Beast. This game doesn't pull punches, it's raw, gritty, and soaked in the kind of rage that makes revenge stories hit hard. The visual style is stripped down and brutal, but that's part of what makes it feel so immediate. Every punch, every line of dialogue feels like a punch to the gut. It's like Hotline Miami took a detour through a noir crime drama. You're not a hero, you're something much scarier, and the game leans into that hard. It's short, tight, and hits like a sledgehammer emotionally and mechanically. Definitely not a comfort game, but man, it hits different. Now we've got Wanted Dead. This one's an absolute fever dream. It feels like a forgotten PS3 era action game. Clunky, stylish, and totally off its rocker. 1 minute you're slicing dudes in half with a katana, the next you're eating ramen while watching anime cutscenes that make zero sense. And weirdly, that's its charm. It doesn't care about being polished, it wants to be fun, and it is. The combat's got that Ninja Gaiden energy, but with guns and sword combos that actually feel satisfying. If you like chaotic B-movie energy mixed with intense action, this is your jam. And next we have Scars Above. This is what you get if you mix Returnal's alien weirdness with some of the slower, thoughtful pacing of old-school sci-fi horror. You're dropped into an alien world where nothing makes sense at first, and slowly you piece it all together through combat, scanning, and some light survival elements. The creature design is seriously unsettling, and even though it's not the most polished game, it nails that lonely, eerie vibe really well. It's all about atmosphere and mystery. If you enjoy sci-fi stories that drip feed you answers, this is one to explore.
They're dead.
Let's talk about Clem. This game feels like an indie film wrapped in a puzzle box. It starts slow and quiet, but the further you go, the more it starts poking at your brain. There's this surreal sadness hanging over everything. The art style looks like a gentle watercolor dream, but the story goes places. It's not about flashy gameplay, but rather the emotions it sneaks into you when you least expect it. Puzzles are woven into the narrative like memories you're trying to make sense of. It's the kind of game you finish in one sitting and then sit in silence staring at the screen. Next on the journey is Costume Quest 2. It's Halloween all the time and it's glorious. This game leans into childhood nostalgia like a bag full of candy. Literally. You're going door to door, fighting monsters using the power of your costume, and the transformations are hilarious. 1 second you're a paper robot, the next you're a wizard casting bubblegum spells. It's goofy, charming, and has turn-based combat that's simple but never boring. The writing is snappy, the world is packed with personality, and it never takes itself too seriously. It's a perfect palate cleanser between heavy games, and honestly, more fun than it has any right to be. Now let's talk about Heaven's Vault. This one's for the thinkers. There's no combat, just you, a forgotten language, and an entire civilization's secrets to uncover. You actually translate ancient scripts, piecing together meanings based on context and symbols, and your choices affect how the story unfolds. It respects your brain in a way few games do. The art style is unique, 2D characters on 3D backdrops, and the dialogue trees are deep without feeling bloated. If you like quiet exploration and storytelling that trust you to figure things out, this game will hook you in a really unexpected way. Next we have Stray Blade. This is one of those games that came and went, but if you stick with it, there's a lot to love. The combat is Souls-like light, fast, responsive, with a hint of challenge but nothing rage-inducing. The real gem here is the colorful world and your quirky wolf companion, Boji. The banter between you two brings warmth to every quest, even the deadly ones. It's got exploration, a bit of crafting, and some genuinely fun boss fights. The visuals pop with vibrant ruins and magical forests, making it feel more inviting than most action RPGs. Underrated, for sure. Let's take a moment for Sherlock Holmes, The Awakened. This is where detective work meets cosmic horror. And yeah, it's as wild as it sounds. You're solving mysteries in that classic Sherlock fashion, but things get real Lovecrafty and real fast. There are tentacles, cults, and unsettling visions, but it's all handled with a slow burn approach. The investigation system is solid. You really feel like you're solving things, not just clicking until it's done. It's moody, eerie, and brings something fresh to both detective games and horror fans. If you like piecing together puzzles while feeling mildly unsettled, don't skip this.
I couldn't read this morning's edition of The Strand because it was covered in soil and...
Next up is Shadows of the Damned. This game is pure grindhouse madness. You're chasing demons through hellish dimensions with a talking skull gun named Johnson. Yes, really. The writing is full of absurd jokes, the enemies are grotesque in the best way, and the whole thing feels like an R-rated haunted house ride. Combat is simple but punchy, and the pacing never lets you breathe. It's weird, loud, messy, and kind of brilliant underneath it all. From the same minds behind No More Heroes and Resident Evil 4, it's a cult classic that wears its insanity like a badge of honor. Let's jump into Bramble, the Mountain King. This one lures you in with gorgeous visuals and fairy tale vibes, and then it absolutely wrecks you emotionally. You're playing as a kid trying to save his sister, but the journey takes you through twisted versions of Nordic folklore, like trolls, witches, and other horrors that feel straight out of a dark bedtime story. The creature designs are terrifying in a beautifully ugly kind of way. It's not really about skill, it's about atmosphere, tension, and that feeling of being small in a big scary world. You'll be surprised how attached you get. And then how unsettled you are. Next up is Planet of Lana. This one's a visual stunner. Think Limbo or Inside, but replace the darkness with bright, painterly landscapes and an adorable alien cat sidekick. It's all about puzzles and platforming, but it's the storytelling without words that really hits. You feel the loneliness, the danger, the beauty, all without dialogue. It's a short experience, but every frame looks like concept art. And the bond between you and that little creature, chef's kiss. It's peaceful, haunting, and just a perfect little escape from loud, bombastic games. Hugely underrated. Now, entering Still Wakes the Deep. This one's got isolation horror down to a science. You're stuck on an oil rig during a freak incident, and things go downhill real fast. The sound design is pure anxiety fuel, creaking metal, water dripping, distant screeches, and it builds a kind of dread that doesn't rely on jump scares. You never feel safe, even in the lit areas. The game leans more toward narrative than combat, but that doesn't mean it's not intense. It's that quiet, immersive kind of horror that creeps under your skin. If you liked Soma or Amnesia, this will absolutely grab you. Next, we explore the Thaumaturge. This is one of those games that sounds ridiculous until you realize it actually works. Set in 1900s Warsaw, you play someone who can see and control demons born from people's traumas, called Saluters. It's got a mix of turn-based combat, detective work, and narrative choices that ripple through the story. The world is grim, grounded in history, but the supernatural twist adds flavor. It's dark, clever, and surprisingly stylish. If you like RPGs that break the mold with weird mechanics and layered lore, this one's a sleeper hit waiting to be found. And now, Astral Chain. From the kings of stylish combat at Platinum Games, this one lets you fight with not one, but two characters, you and your chained-up spectral partner. And it's not just gimmicky, it's smooth, fast, and loaded with combos. You can bind enemies, juggle between attacks, and solve crimes all in the same mission. The futuristic Tokyo setting looks incredible, and the enemy design is full-on anime chaos. There's also a surprising amount of exploration and detective work between battles. It's flashy, deep, and somehow still flew under the radar. Definitely deserves a second look. Let's glide into Ever Forward. This one's soft-spoken but surprisingly deep. You're solving puzzles inside this dreamy sci-fi mindscape that feels like it's built from memories and emotions. The game doesn't explain much. You learn by doing, failing, and rethinking. And while the puzzles get tricky, there's something calming about it all. The soundtrack is mellow, the environments are beautifully minimalistic, and it just gives you space to breathe. It's a story about a girl and her past, told more through atmosphere than dialogue. If you're in the mood for something meditative and cerebral, this one's perfect. Next we have Neva. You're a woman trying to survive in a decaying world, and your only companion is a magical white wolf that grows up alongside you. It's made by the creators of Gris, so you already know it's going to be heartbreakingly beautiful. It's not about combat, it's about connection, grief, and learning to let go. Every movement feels deliberate, every color change tells a story. This isn't just a game, it's a feeling. And if you've got even a slightly soft heart, you're going to remember this one long after it ends. Now we drift to The Last Guardian. This game is about patience and trust. You're a small boy, and your only way forward is through bonding with Trico, a giant feathered beast that's equal parts majestic and moody. It doesn't always listen, and that's kind of the point. It's frustrating, yes, but also real. The bond you build feels earned, and by the end, you'll swear Trico is alive. The environments are stunning, the platforming is tense, and the emotional payoff, huge. It's flawed in ways that make it more human, and honestly, that's why it sticks with you. And now, Onechanbara Z Kagura. Okay, this one's straight up chaos and definitely not for the easily offended. Bikini samurai girls slicing up zombies in a blood-soaked, combo-heavy action fest. It's unapologetically over the top, with ridiculous outfits, flashy finishers, and an energy that screams guilty pleasure. But here's the thing, it's actually fun. The combat's responsive, the weapons feel satisfying, and it's all wrapped in campy absurdity that somehow works. It knows exactly what it is and doesn't pretend otherwise. Sometimes you just need a game that's pure, wild nonsense, and this delivers. Let's dive into another crab's treasure. You're a crab, a tiny crab in a big dangerous ocean, and it's basically a Souls-like. Sounds goofy, but the execution is shockingly good. You pick up trash as armor, soda cans, bottle caps, forks, and use them to survive intense tactical combat. The game's bright, colorful aesthetic hides a genuinely challenging and creative system. It's equal parts silly and smart. And beneath the shell jokes and ocean puns, there's a surprisingly deep world to explore. It pokes fun at the genre while also nailing what makes it satisfying. Don't sleep on it just because it's crustacean themed. Now stepping in, Bloody Spell, this one flew under the radar, but if you're into fast-paced hack-and-slash action with a bit of Eastern fantasy flair, you're in for a treat. It's like someone tossed Neo, Devil May Cry, and some old-school martial arts flicks into a blender. The combat is stylish and responsive, and the customization options are wild. You're flipping through enemies, teleporting mid-combo, and slicing through demon hordes with fluid motion. It's not AAA polish, but it makes up for it with ambition and attitude. If you love pure kinetic combat, this is an underrated gem. Next up, Jade Empire. This one's an ancient BioWare treasure, and it's still worth playing. Set in a mythological version of ancient China, you're a martial artist on a journey through spirits, politics, betrayal, and gods. It's got that classic BioWare branching dialogue and morality system, but the real fun is in the kung fu-inspired combat styles. You can punch, kick, cast magic, or turn into a toad demon. Yes, really. The story holds up, and the world feels rich and mystical. It's crazy how ahead of its time it was. If you missed it back then, now's the perfect moment to fix that.
Leaping tiger.
Let's submerge into submerged, hidden depths. No enemies, no dying, just pure exploration. You're sailing through a flooded city, climbing ancient structures, solving light puzzles, and soaking in the view. It's post-apocalyptic, but not in the usual grim way. Everything is overgrown, colorful, and peaceful. The story unfolds through visuals and symbols, so you're left piecing together the past while chilling in a very zen way. It's one of those games you can play while sipping tea and just existing. If you want a break from chaos and combat, this is like therapy disguised as a video game. Let's take a detour into Dusk Falls. This one's like playing through a crime drama TV series, except every decision you make rewrites the whole story. The art style is super distinct, like a graphic novel come to life, and it works surprisingly well with the heavy, emotional tone. It's not about combat or puzzles, it's about choices, consequences, and watching relationships either grow or completely fall apart. What hits hardest is how real the characters feel. Every scene builds tension, and the branching paths actually matter. It's one of those games that sticks with you, not because of what you did, but because of what you could have done.
My dad is one hell of a snorer.
Oh, the sweetheart. If this is all just to cheat me out of...
And finally, Atlas Fallen. This one came and went way too fast. Set in a giant sand-covered world, you dash, surf, and slam your way through enemies like a magic-powered gladiator. The movement system is buttery smooth. You literally glide across dunes, and the combat is flashy without being overwhelming. It's got a decent amount of customization, some slick co-op features, and a combat system that rewards momentum and creativity. It may not have had the biggest marketing push, but it's fun, fast, and surprisingly polished. Definitely one of those hidden AA titles that deserves a second chance. There it is, 30 awesome games that probably slipped under your radar, but now you've got no excuse. Whether you're into heartwarming adventures, fast-paced chaos, or strange surreal stories, there's something in here for you. Drop a comment, hit that like button if your backlog just exploded, and subscribe if you want more hidden gems every day. Thanks for watching.